Today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about purpose. I'm going to be talking to you about what the point in this reality is. What's the point in this experience that we're all having as human beings? What's the point in all of this variety that we see? Like, what is the answer? What are we actually here for? What are we doing? I've literally this morning been and got my hair cut, and I was chatting to my barber, a really nice guy called Jack. He's been cutting my hair for a few years now. And because he follows me on Instagram, he sees some of the things that I talk about with regards to meditation and spiritual topics. And recently I posted a video of me recording a meditation, and as I was doing it, I looked down and I saw the clock, the little timer that I'd set up, and it said 11:11, which, if you're not familiar, 11:11 is like a sign of guidance, a sign of alignment, a sign that things are coming together. And years ago, I could not care less about numerology and things along those lines. I used to just think it was one of those kind of peripheral parts of spirituality that only, the kind of hippie style spiritual seekers really get into. And I didn't really care for it. But recently, I've been seeing 11:11 everywhere I go. And it's been ridiculous. I would say in the last 2 weeks, I must have seen 11:11 maybe 10 times in different scenarios, not always on the clock. Like, I'd look at my YouTube and one of my videos would have like 1.1k and 111 likes. It was just everywhere I looked, and I was like, there's definitely something in it. And I'd always believed there was something in it, but I didn't really care for it. But now it's been like so in my face. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll show it a bit more attention, but I'm not going to get caught up in it. But I believe more strongly now that it's legit. But anyway, we were getting into a conversation this morning, and he said to me, so what do you think the purpose of all of this is? What is the point in us being here? Like, what's the truth behind it all? What's the answer? Like, what do you believe? And I started talking to him and explaining what I believe. And after the haircut, and he loved it, he said, "Oh, that makes so much sense." And after the haircut, I felt so inspired to share the message that I literally got home, set my camera up, and here I am talking to you now. I wanted to share it. Something was within me was like, you need to make a video about this, because people are gonna, whether they like it or not, people are interested and may enjoy what you have to tell them. So, what is the purpose of all of this? That was the question. What's the point in us being here? What is the truth behind the reality? What is the point in life? What's the meaning of life? What is the purpose of a human being, us being here now? Well, there's lots of ways you can go with this, but the truth of it, and I'm going to be direct, I'm not going to skirt around in this video. I want to be truthful and direct, and this, by the way, is based on my experience. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I've been meditating since I was about 6 years old, and I've been on loads of different meditation courses. I've been on meditation retreats. I've gone hard on my own personal practice, and I've been on this journey for over 20 years. I've had, and I still have, the guidance of a spiritual master, which sounds really weird. It's not the sort of thing we say now, spiritual master. It just sounds a bit almost cringy, but that's the only way I can accurately describe him. But anyway, essentially, I've been very fortunate that I've had lots of experience myself, and I've had very direct teachings from people who have gone even further than I have. But the answer to all of this isn't found outside. It's not found externally, and a lot of people seek answers to the truth of this reality in the reality itself. They look outside of themselves for the answers. And I remember reading books on Rumi, and Rumi used to talk a lot about like going inward, and the answers are within you. And when I was new to all of this, it didn't make sense. I was like, what do you mean the answers are within me? Like, I've only got organs within me. I've got body parts within me. That's physical. I just couldn't quite understand it, because when I meditated, it would just be darkness. It would just be, my mind would go quiet, but there was nothing more. Where is this inner environment that everyone's talking about? And then it wasn't until later on, when I started having more things happen, and I'd go deeper, and see different things, and then having even more profound experiences of coming out of my body and being in other planes and crazy stuff. But initially it was very confusing. I couldn't make sense of it. The answers are within. They're always within. People would say this, and it was hard to wrap my head around. And I feel like if you're watching this, maybe you're thinking the same. There'll be obviously, of course, some people watching this who have had amazing experiences, and there'll be others that are just starting this journey. And to say that the answers aren't outside, they're inwards, can be very confusing. So I want you to know that it's normal that it's confusing. It's confusing to everyone when we start this work, but it's the truth. The answers are not found outside. The answers aren't found in your relationships. The answers aren't found in your hobbies, your job, your relationship with your kids, in the love you feel for them. Those things are human experiences. They're temporary. Even the love you have for a partner is temporary. You know, you can fall in and out of love with someone when you're talking in terms of human love. But the answers to these questions of like, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of all of this? Are within. You have to start to go beyond what is temporary and seek what is permanent. And when you dwell on that question, you realize that everything outside is temporary. Every material object, every experience, every person, every relationship might last the duration of your lifetime, but ultimately it's temporary. There is an end. There is going to be an end to it. Therefore, it can't be the true reality. It can't be the truth, because the truth is always the truth. It's permanent. It's infinite. It's always there. So everything outside of ourselves isn't the truth. It's what they would call in Hinduism, or the Sanskrit word is maya, which means that as human beings, everything outside is illusionary. It doesn't really exist in the way that we see it. Reality appears the way it does because it's an illusion. We're not seeing the truth of reality. We see everything as being separate, and we see things as objects, and we see ourselves here and the camera there. And the reason we do that, we see it that way, is because of our senses, our conditioning. We believe that we are separate from everything and everyone, and we're not. We're not separate from everything and everyone. We appear separate, and we have our own, what seem to be separate thoughts and desires and things, but actually everything is still interconnected. Even the space between me and this camera doesn't exist. There are atoms. There are things that I can't see. And even all of the other planes of existence that are one stacked upon one another, they're actually all one. They're all together. All of the different planes, this physical plane, the astral plane, the mental plane, the supermental plane, all of these different levels of consciousness are here and now, but they're all operating at a different level. One's vibrating at this pace, the next one's vibrating at this pace, the next one's vibrating at this pace, and so we can't see them. But the astral plane is here and now. The mental plane is here and now. All of the other planes that you can access are here and now, but we can't access them without going inward. We have to go inward. We have to let go of this human consciousness, this body consciousness, and tap into higher and higher levels of consciousness. So, yeah, we can explore deeper realms. We can go further than this physical reality, but what is the meaning of life? What's the purpose of life? What is the purpose of this human condition? Well, it's actually to answer that question. It's to get to the answer of that question, and not just the theoretical answer, which I'm going to give you today, but the experiential answer of what is the purpose of life? What is the point in this existence? We can understand it theoretically, but to experience it is a whole different ballgame, and that's what we're actually working towards. So the theoretical answer to what is the purpose of life is to realize yourself, to realize who you are, but not just to realize it cognitively, but to actually experience who you are. And what I mean is that we're this mind-body. We're experiencing ourselves as a mind-body experience now. We're having a mind-body experience. We're at a low level of consciousness. We're at a body level of consciousness. And that's fine because we're on this plane. We're on this physical plane, so we are aligned to that in terms of our consciousness. But there is a part of me and there is a part of you and a part of everyone that animates this mass, this body of atoms, this collection of atoms, this big cluster of atoms and molecules. There is something that lights that up. There's something that brings that to life. There's something that brings it to life when we're born, and there's something that takes life away from it when we die, or takes the animated aspect of it away when we die. What is that part? What is the part of you which has the ability to say, I like that and I don't like that, or I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do that? There is a part of you that keeps the body alive, that animates the body, that isn't tangible, that doesn't seem to have any particular shape or size. It doesn't originate in any one particular place. You could lose your arm, and providing you had good healthcare, you would still be alive. So the arm isn't you. You can't say that the arm is you. The arm's part of the body, but it's not actually everything that makes you up. And so the meaning of life, the purpose of this life, is to actually get to the experiential level of who you are. And you may say, well, okay, well, that's cool. Well, who is that, or what is that? And you have to come back to this understanding that there is only one reality. Everything that we see around us looks different. It looks separate. It looks like there's infinite amount of things going on. But there is actually only one truth. There's only one creation. And it's all a manifestation of this one energy source. So everything that we see around us, my cup, my phone, my camera, you, me, we're manifestations of this one energy. This one energy has lowered its level of consciousness down to such an extent that everything now appears physical. But that one energy is the same energy on all of these different planes of consciousness, these planes of existence. They're all a manifestation of this one energy, this one creator, you could say. Some people would call it God, but I'm trying to avoid that word because I know nowadays that offends people, or people immediately think I'm talking in religious terms, and I'm not talking in religious terms here. So that kind of brings the question about as to what is that energy source then? And I'm gonna use the word the divine, because I feel like that's not as connected to religions. The divine is the essence of everything. The divine is the thing that created everything. The divine is everything. This cup is actually a manifestation of the divine. But we can't see the divine itself. We're just seeing the manifestation of it. So we don't know the truth. This is why we don't know the truth looking outward. We can't know the truth externally from ourselves, because we're only seeing a manifestation of the truth. But that is the truth. It is the divine. That cup, the water, my hand, it's all the divine. It's all that one energy. But it's a manifestation of, crucially, it's a manifestation of that energy. And so we're not seeing the truth, and this is what the word maya means. It means that we can cognitively understand that that's the divine, but we're not seeing it as the divine yet. We're seeing it as a manifestation of. So our job, the process of a spiritual journey, is to start to remove the conditioning and the layers, go within, and start to experience this energy at closer and closer to its natural state, you could say, or at a higher level of consciousness, or a higher vibrational quality, until you get to the vibrational quality of it, which is pure divine love. The divine is pure love, but not human love. Human love is fleeting. Human love isn't. Human love comes and goes, so it's not the true essence of love. It's not the ultimate state of love. True love is totally selfless, and as a human being, we can't be totally selfless because we have an ego. We have a sense of I, a sense of individuality, which is important as a human being for different reasons. But we're looking to get to the pure essence, the pure selfless love, which is the divine love, which is not limited to anything. It's infinite. It's everything at once. It's omnipresent. It's everywhere at once. And so a lot of people will say things like, well, I'm the divine. They acknowledge that they're the divine, which is the truth. You are. The truth to your reality is that you're the divine. You're not this limited body-mind experience. That I agree with. But you're not experiencing yourself as the divine yet. That's the crucial part, which a lot of people miss, is that they understand it theoretically, but they're not experiencing themselves as that yet. And I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying that this is the journey that we're all on as human beings, is to get back from human limited consciousness to infinite, selfless, divine consciousness. That's the journey, that's the purpose, that's why we're here, is to let go of this selfishness, this sense of individuality, this sense of I'm all that matters, I'm the only thing that's here, I'm separate from everyone and everything. No, we need to let go of that, and we let go of that by going inward. And when we go inward, we start to peel away the layers of this identity that we've built up, this sense of being separate, this sense of being a limited human being. And this is the process, this is a spiritual journey. A spiritual journey is really, when people say I'm spiritual, what does that really mean? To me, it means that you acknowledge that there is more beyond this physical reality. There is a spiritual realm. There is a spiritual component to yourself. There is a part of you that makes you up that is separate to the mind and body. That's really what a spiritual journey is. That's really what a spiritual person is someone that acknowledges that. And if you acknowledge that, if you say, yeah, I am that, I am not this mind and body, I'm something else. Well, what is that? What is that something else? You need to get to the point of experiencing that something else. And that's really what we're working towards. That's the purpose, you could say, of this human experience. And then obviously this brings about more questions. Often this stuff does. Like, the more questions answered, the more questions arise. It's hilarious. It's just the nature, I think, of such a complex subject. But it brings about the question of if we are a limited body and if we're not a limited body and mind experience and we are something else, how do we experience ourselves as that? Well, we have to go inward. We have to let go of this consciousness in order to start to open ourselves up to higher levels of consciousness. And as we ascend these higher levels of consciousness, and we do that in meditation, we start to experience higher and higher levels of consciousness. We actually get closer to what we really are. But there's always going to be a part of you that tries to obscure that truth. There's always a part of you that doesn't want you to experience who you are because it's happy that you don't know. And that's the ego. This is why you feel fear when you meditate. This is why you feel resistance when you meditate. It's coming from the part of you that does not want you to know who you really are, what you really are, because you're caught up in this illusion. And I'm saying you, me too. If I'm here, if I'm in a physical body, I'm caught in the illusion. There's no doubt about it. But I'm on a journey, and I'm understanding more, and I'm being shown more. I'm experiencing more, crucially. And this is why I'm sharing this video, really. I'm sharing my learnings, and I want you to be able to experience more. I want you to experience the answers, or the truth. I want you to experience the truth, really, of who you are and what the purpose of all of this is. You can experience that truth, but you do have to go inward. You have to ask. You have to meditate, pray, mantra. You have to do things that are not normal people don't do. Normal people don't know the truth. Normal people don't, and I say normal, it sounds, I'm not talking down to anyone. I'm just saying that the general population, the masses, they're not interested necessarily in knowing the truth, and that's fine. I'm not saying that they should, but I'm just saying they don't have a general interest in that. But if you're watching this video, and especially if you're this far along, you do have an interest, and you're not a normal kind of person, let's say. You're not following the route that the masses follow, which is beautiful. You're obviously drawn inward more. There's something has directed you to ask questions and to seek and to say, I love this reality, this physical reality, this experience as a human being. It's beautiful. Really fortunate to have it. I love the experiences I've had. I love my relationships, my family, etc. But something inside me knows that there's more. Something inside me knows that there is a truth behind this reality, that, all of this variety that I'm seeing, there's a truth behind it, and I want to experience that truth. I want to know that truth. And if you're that person, if you're listening to this and you think, yeah, that's pretty much how I feel, Well, then the answer is that you need to go inward. You need to ask these questions inwardly ask these questions to yourself and ask to be shown the answers. The guidance will come in obscure, funny, weird ways that you might not expect. And I mean, even this video is answering a question that you've had. If you're a seeker, if you're someone that has an intrinsic desire to know these questions, and you have for a while, well, this video is the divine. You know, this video has not landed on your phone or your laptop by accident. You've been shown this video because it's the correct thing for you to be seeing at this moment, and it's hopefully just going to take you to the next step, whatever that is for you. We're all at different levels, and that's great. We all really need to just help each other, continue to grow and continue to understand more. And as I keep saying, the answers that you're looking for are not found outside of yourself. The answers are found within yourself. And the answer is, you are the divine. You need to start believing that you're the divine, not in any egoic way, but you need to have the recognition that you are the divine and that you're not this limited consciousness, and strive towards the experience of that. Strive towards experiencing yourself as the divine, as God, as infinite energy, whatever you want to call it. And that's the work. And that is really, often we have to take a different route, which is, that is the goal. That's what we're trying to do. But sometimes we have to do it in a different way, which might be getting to the bottom of what we're not in order to experience what we are. And if you go through a process of elimination, I'm not this body. You understand you're not the body. Okay, well, what's the next thing? I'm not the mind. Okay, yeah, the mind is made up of thoughts. It's made up of desires. It's made up of ego. I know I'm not that. Thoughts come and go. Desires come and go. The mind is not me. What's beyond that? And you go through this process, and you start by process of figuring out what you're not. You get to the bottom of what you are. And again, then you need the experience of it. So I think I've got across everything I wanted to talk about. This was a totally unplanned video, unscripted. I just felt compelled to talk after my conversation with my barber. I'm more than happy to answer questions as best I can in the comments. Please do fire away with questions, queries. If something I've said doesn't make sense, I try to be as clear as I can. But especially with these kind of unscripted, unplanned videos, they can bounce around all over the place. And I know I've done that a bit on this one, but as I say, I just felt compelled just to talk. But wherever you are in your journey, whether you call it a spiritual journey or not, we're all on a spiritual journey, really, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. Wherever you are, I genuinely wish you the best of luck with it. And as a person who's also on the journey, but has now kind of got to a point where I'm helping others on their journey as well, I want to be here and help you and answer questions and guide you as best I can using this channel and other means. So please do ask questions. If you're interested in meditation and going a bit deeper with that, if you're someone that likes meditating, I've got a course out. Feel free to check it out in the description. It is a paid course, so just be aware of that. If you want to seek free options, then there's infinite supply on the internet anyway. So do whatever feels good to you, whatever you want to do. But thanks so much for watching up till now, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks so much.